So today I'm going to talk about image stabilization for the Canon R7 as far as video goes. So I'm going to show you how you would activate that in the camera and the different flavors of it that the Canon R7 offers, as well as going out, doing some walking tests so you can see how it performs. And then I'm going to show you something that I found that's a little concerning, that really had me set to make a very scathing video about the Canon R7, just putting it down. But then I did some more testing and I was like, oh, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought. So we'll get into that. You'll understand what I'm talking about if you stay tuned. So there's a few ways you can get into the stabilization modes for video. To me, the easiest way is to go to your Q menu. And by default, I believe you should have the option here with the little shaky hand. That is the IS mode control. So, you know, if you were clicked on something else, just click on this. That takes you in there. If you put on a lens here that doesn't have any stabilization in it, so a prime lens or whatever, and there's no stabilization, when you turn it on, that's when that sensor shifting technology takes place and you can stabilize a lens that has no stabilization in it. However, when you turn it on and you're putting on a lens that does have image stabilization built in, it's not like turning this on will only activate the lens stabilization. At that point, what it's doing is it sees that, okay, this lens has stabilization in it. So then it also will turn on the in-body stabilization at the same time so that the two are working in conjunction. It doesn't matter if it's RF or it's an adapted EFS or EF lens. It's always going to turn on the both of them at the same time. And to go a step further, you can click on the info button or you can tap where it says digital IS on your screen. That's going to add some additional stabilization to your footage, but it's doing it digitally. It has nothing to do with the lens moving around or the sensor moving around. It's just using, you know, algorithms and computation to adjust your shot. The same way like Warp Stabilizer does in Adobe Premiere. We'll take a look at some samples in a bit to show you what this can do. But I mean, just really, you know, hold that thought for a second too as far as this digital IS goes, because it's not created equal. And we'll go deeper into that as we take a look at some samples. First, let's take a look at what the crop is when you use digital IS. So this is just lens stabilization, no crop. And now this is level 1. And this is level 2. Okay, so for the first test, we're going to go ahead and test out the 18 to 150 millimeter kit lens that comes with the R7. Just walking with the 18 to 150 millimeter lens. This is actually in level 2 movie stabilization. This is the 18 to 150. Walking, zoomed all the way out. IS only. This is level 1, 18 to 150. This is level 2, 18 to 150. I'm pretty impressed with the image stabilization that comes out of this camera when you're using the 18 to 150 millimeter lens. Now let me show you what it does if you use this adapter. And I have a few of these adapters actually. So this adapter right here, this is the Miki, I don't know how you pronounce that. Miike, I have no clue how you pronounce that. But this is one of the adapters you can find on Amazon for it. It's not very expensive. Just a straight EF to RF mount adapter. You could put EF or EFS glass on the R7 using this adapter. I also have the one that uses the ND filter. Here's what happens when you use the 10 to 18 millimeter lens with one of these adapters. So this is 4K 60, and the lens stabilization is the only thing on. Movie stabilization is off. This is movie stabilization level 1. Zoomed all the way out. And last test, movie stabilization level 2. Still zoomed all the way out. I'm going to do a side by side so you can see it a little bit better. It doesn't really have the stabilization that the 18 to 150 has. And I'm thinking that's because of the adapter and the fact that it's an older lens. So now I was really kind of pissed off because now I'm thinking, man, everybody's saying just adapt your older EF and EFS lenses and you'll be fine. Who needs the new RF lenses for the Canon? Save yourself some money. But as we can see, the stabilization doesn't work as well. At least that's what I thought. Then I said, let me be fair. Let me try another lens. So then I tried my 18 to 400 Tamron lens, which is also EFS, and I used the adapter. And I decided to test the video with that. Then I started walking down the bridge, and here's what I saw. One more test, zoomed out to 18 with the Tamron. Same thing. Oh yeah, now it's really not working well. It looked so bad to me that I didn't even point the thing to my face. It was jumping all over the place. It looked terrible. And this was at 18 millimeters using level 2. It still looked really bad, almost like image stabilization wasn't even on. So I was like, oh, so this is what's going to happen. Anytime you adapt a lens to this thing from EF or EFS, it's going to look like garbage. That's what I thought. Remember, I said I was going to give a scathing review, and then I kind of changed my mind. So I thought to myself, let me try something different. How about if I zoom in to 18 millimeters on that 10 to 18? Will that make it look a little bit better? Because with the other lens, I was at 18, and at this one, I wasn't. I was really wide. So I did that. And here we're looking at the 10 to 18, zoomed all the way into 18 millimeters, and it is set to digital IS level 1. And here we're looking at the 10 to 18, zoomed all the way into 18 at level 2. And this bridge walking shot is also set to level 2 on the 10 to 18, zoomed all the way in. Then I thought to myself, let me go a little step further and let me try out my 18 to 135 EFS lens, because that is closer to the 18 to 150. And in this test, we are using the 18 to 135 millimeter, and we are at 18 millimeters. This is the level 1 digital IS. This test is the 18 to 135, level 2 digital IS. And to my surprise, when I used the 18 to 135 EFS lens, the stabilization, although it's not quite as good as the 18-150, is pretty close. So that leads me to this conclusion. You're going to get better stabilization performance out of a RF mount lens. It would be best if it was probably RFS, which there aren't a lot of options. But you're also going to get good results when you adapt a lens. It just kind of depends on what lens it is. I have a feeling that if it's third party like Tamron or Sigma, it might not work as well. Maybe. Probably not true for all of those lenses, but some of them may not work well. And I think when it's a Canon lens that isn't the 10-18, it seems to work pretty decently. So you just don't know, right? You don't know it until you try it. Some lenses are not going to work well. Some of them will. So there it is. But I still feel they need to make more RFS lenses to give us those options, because when you do use those lenses, it's going to work the best. And matter of fact, on the Canon itself, and I think they have a list on their website to show which lenses work the best if you go to the Canon website. But even on the camera itself, when you plug in an RFS lens, it actually shows you, if you go to info, it will show you a little plus sign by the little handshaky icon to signify that you have lens stabilization turned on. It puts a little plus there. And when it has that plus, that means this lens has extra stabilization performance in it. And not all lenses can do it. And it's only really the RF lenses. Some of them, not all of them either. Some of them can do it, not all of them. So there it is. Anyway, I hope you guys found that helpful. As always, links for everything that I'm talking about are always down below, so you can check them out if you want. Those are affiliate links. I get a small commission if you were to purchase something, so help me out. Do that. And as always, I'm Mike Turner. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon.